Hello, everybody. I am Jonathan. Welcome to this kind of workflow showcase. So, I'm going to show you here how I use the Spine Pro in my process to make animations. All right. So, let me play here. It is not a real time process. Okay. I'm going to speed up this in order to take less time. Okay. So, don't forget to subscribe in my YouTube channel if you are new here. So, I'm going to show you how I get this result. All right. So let's get started right now. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do here, it is about how you guys can separate the group. All right, this is the process about Rigi. Okay, the Rigi system works like separating the layers. Okay, basically after you finish your art, you need to to arrange all the layers and group them. All right. So this is basically what I'm doing here. And as you can see, I'm doing another eyes sprite, and creating a kind of background for this character. Okay. So you need to separate the objects, and after then, of course, you need to export this. And I'm using here Affinity Designer, of course, as you maybe and I'm exporting here all the assets, okay, in the export mode. All right, so you guys can see here what I'm doing. You can pause and see how the process is being done. All right, so basically I'm exporting here the project into the Spine Pro directly. Okay, and you just need to import, okay, to the spine. And here I'm starting to create the bonds. Okay, you need to make the bonds and attach all the objects we call sprite, okay, the images that you can attach into the bonds in order to move then. All right, so here I am doing here the attachment for each bond with the image. All right, so I can slow down a little bit after then. And here I'm testing how the bones is working with the sprite. Okay, as I told you, this is a kind of workflow that I use to make my animations mainly for game. Okay, so basically spine is really good for animation mainly for games in my case. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is trying to export others missed layers, okay, that I forgot to export. And in this case, guys, I am arranging the layers because you need to know about the layers arrangement, okay. And as you can see, I'm trying to attach the bones and organize them together like a group and parents. Okay, so basically, this is how you guys can attach the bones. So, for example, here what I'm doing is creating the mesh. The mesh is very important, guys, because this makes the object create more kind of movement, as you can see here. Okay, so in order to move an image, remember about Photoshop. All right, in Photoshop you have the warp tool. In this case, I'm using this kind of warp tool. Okay, so you can understand better how the mesh works. And I'm adding these points, more vertices points, in order to move this kind of soft movements. And I'm applying this in the objects that needs to have this kind of movements. Okay, so I'm applying in the ears, on the a little bit on the scarves of this baby Yoda. All right, and guys, remember about some points that I am talking about here. I'm creating some points to make this movement. Okay, and for example, if you attach a bone, and in this case, in this mesh, you can apply this movement with the bones. Okay, I know this can be a little bit difficult if you never see this before. Okay, but don't worry, with more you try to understand, if you get this software, you need to watch some tutorials in order to learn. But in this case, I'm showing you here how I'm doing this. So basically I'm creating kind of groups for the bones, all right, for the face, in order to make the movements of them together. And as you can see on here, I'm starting the animation already. And the animation process, guys, works like a key point. So basically, you have some points and the keys we call keys, and the center, the intermediation of between these keys makes the movement, as you can see on here, and I'm doing this. It's a kind of a record system, So I love to make this kind of animation because it is much more for me, of course, easier than the traditional work, because traditional you need to create each step of the animation process. But in this case, you just need to create the interpolation, interpolation between the keys. So basically, this is how I do my animations, all right? And here I'm starting to move this scarf, in some position, as you can see over here. It is going to make this kind of movement, you know and of course, if you don't know how this software works, maybe you get crazy the first time. For me, it took me more or less 1 month or 2 months to learn this software, because your first time, it's a little bit difficult, but it requires really good skills about software manipulation. So yeah, if you want to work in this way, I really recommend you guys get the software and play around. But in my case, the first time, it is quite expensive, in my currency here in Brazil. But I need to get this in order to improve my quality in animations. And what I'm doing here, basically, as you can see, I'm creating more and more movements to the character. And basically, guys, this is how the things works around here. I'm creating the movement and change the sprite for this eye. So in this case, in some keys, I can change these eyes, change it about between the close and opening the eyes, all right? And basically, I'm trying to review all the animations, try to make this kind of animation theory, about scratch and squeeze scratch or something like this, because you need to make this kind of big expression, like animation. So if you want to learn about this, I really recommend you guys grab some references from the internet, like Disney movies, So animations is really fundamental for this understanding, So this is the fundamentals, about the animations. If you understand more is better. Your animation will become. So don't forget, guys. This is just my workflow, okay? It's not supposed to be a fully tutorial about how to make a animation. Maybe you guys can have more open idea about this process that I'm doing here. So it demands more or less for this character that I'm doing here, 50 minutes to 1 hour. It depends, because the time you expend more is more about export things sometimes, and and to review, the some layers, images, and try to fix some images as well, because if you are doing some images, maybe you can get some wrong images between the movements, all right? So be careful with that if you want to give a big step with this. I'm using, of course, the Affinity Design in this case, but you guys can use Photoshop. There's some plugins that you can export automatically, all right? I don't know about other softwares because I'm just working for now with a film designer, right? And here, as you can see in this process, as I'm showing you here now, I'm creating the mesh for the face. So it's really amazing, guys, about this software. I really like it. Uh, the image manipulation that you guys can apply over here, all right? And to make this kind of effects, I really love it, to be honest. Okay, So basically, I think that is all for now. The explanation about my process. It is the rig. It is about the, for example, the export system. Okay, and of course, there's a lot of technical art skills and manipulation that you need to have. Okay, of course, if you don't know, you guys need to study and need to practice. Or okay, so yes, let me show you here about the Spine Pro. This is the website that you guys can get the Spine Pro. It is work more for games. I don't know if it work better, good for others purposes, but I think you guys can export to many others game engines. All right, so there is other softwares that can work like Spine Pro. It's called Spider 2D. Okay, it's on available on Steam, and I don't know others one. There is also Two Dimensions, and it is a web page, a software that you guys can image as well. And I'll leave the link at the description below so you guys can see on there and play around to see which one is best for you. Okay, guys. So there's some showcase here about how the people use this for game. It's really amazing. Spine demos, and there is a lot of tutorials more about tips, give and tips. But I think this is really good to be honest, and they are always updating the software. As you can see here, there is a lot of really nice functionalities, and as you can see here, there is these sprite skins that they are improving a lot recently. I really love this kind of functionality, because in games we use this a lot. And as I'm using the Affinity Designer, I can replace some images, create some variations of the clothes for the characters and change during the animations. Okay, and yes, that's all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this kind of explanation workflow showcase, I guess. Okay, this is not a tutorial step by step, but I hope you guys enjoy this, because many of you have been asking me about this. Okay, so guys, thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next time, and don't forget to like if you like, of course, and see you.